Welcome back to part 5 of my top 100 board games of all time so far. Yes, confusing title. I don't know. Today we are covering numbers 60 to 51, so the last of the bottom half of the list. But these are still really good games that I enjoy immensely and will play just about any time. So, let's get to the list and see what's in store. First up, number 60, Love Letter. Now, this is a game that has many different forms. Classic, Batman, Hobbit, Munchkin. Basically, you name it, there's a version of Love Letter. And they'll basically play the same way. I just have classic Love Letter, and I enjoy the game immensely. Batman Love Letter, played it, liked the twist on it, with the ones giving you extra points if you guess right. And I think that speeds the game up, and sometimes that's needed. Love Letter's a great filler, and, neat deduction game, and it works well. So, if you haven't played Love Letter, I kind of go, are you hiding under a rock in the board game world? But I understand, hey, not everybody plays everything. If you haven't played it, check it out. If you have played it and it's been a while, hey, go back, try it out. Number 59, 1960, The Making of the President. Two-player game. Very in-depth, historical game, and I love it. It is so in-depth. It captures the feel of the election. I wasn't alive for the election at all, but I love that election from a historical standpoint. It was such a close presidential election, and this board game faithfully recreates it. The events on cards just do the things that are depicted in history. And anytime you have that happen, it's a really good thing. This game is challenging. I have had close elections. I have had like a 272 to 260 something game. And that's insane. Like, that is both players playing basically even games, and the end of the game decided who won. That's just like a cube pull from the bag different, and it would have been the other way. Wow. I've had some blowouts in this game, and that's fine too. And I've seen both sides win, and that's what you want in a two-player game. You want maybe some asymmetrical play, but you want both sides to be able to win, and 1960 is a great game. If you are at all interested in history, this is a game to check out. Number 58, Star Realms. Now, I guess I'm on a little bit of a two-player bent, but Star Realms is a quick two-player card game. And yes, you can combine sets and go up to 4 players, but that's too much work. This is essentially 2 players. My stuff against your stuff. Who's going to win? Who's going to get that kill? And the way in which you assemble your cards, you're buying from the same set of cards. It's quick. It works well. There's a few different ways you can go about winning. How you combine the different cards, you get different sets that trigger off of each other. It's a really well done game, very simple. Some expansions are nice for variety, but the base game works insanely well just as itself. I've played this probably more on my phone than as the actual game, but that's just because it's easier to play on my phone. The math's done fast, and cleanup a lot simpler. But Star Realms, still a great game, cheap, so get it if you play two-player games whatsoever. Number 57 is Hanabi, and this is a game that's falling down on my list for a little bit. It's not that it's a bad game. It's not that I like it a ton less. It's that the game is challenging to enforce. For those of you who don't know Hanabi, you have a hand of cards and you can't see them. Everybody else can. And it's cooperative. So you're all working together. And you can give hints to other players and say, like, hey, these 2 cards are ones. But there's a lot of table talk that happens. And you're not really supposed to have table talk, but there's clues like, this card is a 1 and this card is a 1. That says, hey, play this first card. Don't play that second card. I don't know what you can truly do about that. Or even like, this is a red card, and then this is a red card. Is that in the spirit of the rules? Maybe not. But it's creative clue giving, and it skirts the line. So, Hanabi, I have fun with it. I've probably had more fun with it as a 2-player game because there's just a challenge. I've gotten a perfect game. That's not to brag. That's to say that it can be done. And it's a good thing. It's a very challenging game. Sometimes the shuffle just messes you up. But I like Hanabi. It's got a legitimate place on this list. There's just some things that have been done better by other co-op games with hidden information. Number 56 is No Thanks. And yeah, let the puns fly. Like, no, do you want to play No Thanks? No thanks. It's a very simple game. Deck of cards numbered 3 to 35. Pull 9 out. Every turn, you are faced with the option. Do you want the card, or are you going to put a chip on it and pass? Numbers are bad. Chips are good. Consecutive numbers discount and make a run only worth the lowest card in the set. Low total at the end of the game wins. And you find yourself at the end really hoping that that one card that bridges your gap shows up. Because if it does, you win, and if it doesn't, you don't. Yeah, No Thanks. Great filler game. Very tricky to play well all the time. Because you just can't. But if you're looking for a cheap game and something to have fun with 3 to 5 people, then I can't recommend No Thanks higher. Number 55 is Strike. No, it's not a bowling game. It's also not a baseball game. It's a dice game. And it's throw dice into a center pit. And if you make a match, you get those dice back. If you roll an X, the die is gone forever. It's really fun, and people just get into it because it's dice, and it's luck-driven, but it's, I want to do better, I should be doing better than I am, and because I'm not doing better, it's frustrating. And people go on these ridiculous win streaks that they shouldn't go on. Like, they win 7 games in a row, and you're like, what is with that? And nobody can explain it. But that's Strike for you, and it's a ton of fun. It's finally kind of making its way over to the U.S. It was available in Germany for a lot of years, and one of my friends got it when it came into the U.S. And it's like, okay, this is fun. It's a filler. I don't know how long it'll truly last, but while it's here, I'm really enjoying playing it, and I think that it's a blast, and I can't say too much more than that. It's silly fun again, and those silly fun games have a place in my heart because they remind me that gaming is truly fun. Alright, number 54 is the old classic Carcassonne. This is, I believe, actually the first game that I owned. I was given it as a graduation gift from high school. And I got the first big box. And, you know, there's a special place in my heart for that. But regardless of that, I do enjoy Carcassonne. I enjoy the tile placement. I got super involved in the community during college. I was designing tiles and had people actually make some custom sets for me of like base tiles that had different configurations and stuff. And that's really cool to me to have like 3 sets that are named after me. They're like Math Guy Gamma and Math Guy Omega. It's like, that's super cool. They'll never be officially published or anything. And I'm okay with that. But in the custom community, they're there. And they're awesome. And, you know, they're long since kind of buried in archives and such. But there's a neat thing that happens in Carcassonne when you don't play with like 6 people and you limit the expansions you play with. That, you know, this is just a fun game of tile placement and building cities and roads and farms and making points and figuring out what the best way to score points are and adapting. And yeah, sometimes it's mean because you horn in on people's cities, and sometimes it's cooperative. It's, hey, you know what? You and I need to build this city so Bob over there doesn't get more points. But you do that. You work together, and great things happen in Carcassonne. And it's a ton of fun. So, Carcassonne, my number 54, and very well deserved. All right, number 53, Seasons. Dice drafting, card drafting, and a really good blend of being able to mess with your opponents and also build up your own stuff and trying to protect it and use it to the best of your ability. It's kind of engine building, but also, you know, it's that importance of draft. And I don't play Seasons a ton, but whenever I do, I enjoy it. And to be able to truly enjoy and appreciate a game every time you break it out, that says something to me. It's not something I bring out every time because it really isn't a game for everyone, but it's a game that certain people really gravitate towards. And I find myself being fascinated with how much I learn every time I play Seasons. I value different cards more each time. And some cards I go, it's not that important. And then somebody will use it. And they'll go, oh, now I see. I see how I messed up. And you know what? That works. I learn. I learn when I play Seasons. And that's a good thing. So, Seasons, a very good game. I learn a lot. And I have fun playing. All right, number 52, the game. Yes, the game. Das Spiel. Don't try searching for it on Board Game Geek. It was a Spiel des Jahres nominee. It's a co-op game with hidden information. Yes, it's higher than Hanabi. And your goal is to play cards 2 through 99 into 4 stacks. 2 going up, 2 going down. And you have to play 2 cards every turn. And sometimes that means making a big jump. And when you make a big jump, you're in trouble. But then you're not, because everybody had bad cards. And by that jump, you can actually make it all work. And it all kind of works together. So, the game. I've been privileged to be part of getting every card played. Somehow. I don't know how. One guy had the 19 and 21 left. Another guy had the 20. And we somehow figured it all out. Without cheating. I was very impressed. I was like, how did we pull that off? And we did it. We did it. And it was incredible. I wish I had filmed it. But, you know what? You take those things. Those are memories that will never happen again. Until maybe they do. So, the game is a ton of fun. And I know I keep saying things are tons of fun. But the social dynamic of, hey, don't touch this pile. I really need this pile because I have the perfect card for this, and somebody else goes, but that's the only place I can play. Yeah, it's tough. But you make it work. So, teamwork and communication skills in this game. That's what I take away from it. The final game in the bottom half of the top 100. Number 51, Dead Drop. Yes, Dead Drop. Kickstarter game. It's a deduction game. There's one card taken away. You have 2 cards in your hand. Everybody else has 2 cards in their hand. The rest of the cards are in the center. And you are trying to figure out what's missing by trading cards with people, by trading cards with the center. But the trick is, once you figure out what's missing, you have to get cards that add up to that card in your hand, and then reveal those and check. And sometimes you're right, and sometimes you're wrong. And if you're wrong, your cards are up, and everybody knows that you're wrong, and then you're out of the round. And you play multiple rounds. And that's a good thing. So, I'm making it sound simpler than it is, or maybe more complicated than it is. I don't know. The game is very simple to learn, and very complex to truly master. But it's a ton of fun. And it's very replayable, because what's hidden every time, the information you have every time changes. And that keeps the game different. And the people you play with can vary. And when you do that, everyone has a different means of approaching the game. And that makes it all the more interesting. I don't think I'd want to play this with the same group of 3 or 4 people every time. That would get old and boring. But by playing this with different people, it keeps it fresh. So, Dead Drop, a very well done deduction game with a few cards, and it's a blast. Alright guys, that's it for the bottom half. Now we're getting into what I think are the really good games, the top 50. I'm so excited to be sharing those with you. I hope you're excited to watch. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so very much. And until next time, we will see you around the shipyard. Take care.